It is all about the Intercontinental Championship. The Miz wants the gold back. Seth Rollins winning the championship back at WrestleMania in New Orleans, defeating The Miz and Finn Balor in an impeccable triple threat match that surely in contention for stealing the night. It was certainly a highlight. And with The Miz wanting his title back, what he feels to be his title, he wants it back. Miz will stop at absolutely nothing. With or without his Miztourage, he will do what he has to do. Miz trying to do what he can to fight the grip of Seth Rollins and takes the smart way out by reaching for the ropes, forcing a rope break. Rollins has that confident smirk on his face, feeling like he's got Miz's number at this point. Miz, going back to just a couple years ago to 2016, a time where Miz feeling he made the Intercontinental Championship. Miz cannot let his emotions get the best of him whatsoever. He can be disqualified. And if he is disqualified, Seth Rollins will retain the Intercontinental Championship. As Miz sends Rollins face first into the top turnbuckles. For The Miz to win, he's going to have to pin or submit Seth Rollins inside the ring. Referee Chad Patton telling them they need to break off the ropes. And a beautifully well-executed drop kick from the Intercontinental Champion to The Miz. Win or lose, Miz is going to have to recalculate. Miz is in dangerous territory as Rollins went full speed ahead. And what I mean by Miz recalculating, he's going to have to rethink the strategy. If he is to win the Intercontinental Championship, you're going into another reign, and now you become the target once again. You are the target. You are not the hunter. You become the hunted. Seth Rollins has admitted and has stated, I am not overlooking The Miz. The Miz is one of the best to do it. Miz, a WrestleMania main eventer going back to WrestleMania 27. Miz is a former WWE champion, much the same as Seth Rollins. Rollins, a former multi-time world champion. Former tag team champion. Miz measures up Rollins and gets the boot between the eyes of the champion. Miz quickly capitalizes by going for a pinfall, but not enough to keep Seth Rollins down. Miz re-strategizes into a chin lock. Wants to block off the airway of the champion, as all the blood will rush to the head. The head of Rollins will start to turn red and then purple, but Rollins fights off before that can happen. Oh, Miz driving the knee into the midsection of Seth Rollins. Miz, also a former United States champion, tag team champion. Miz is a Triple Crown champion. Miz trying to bring out that vicious side of him, do what is necessary to win back the title. The thing about Seth Rollins is he won the WWE Championship. He then had that knee injury going back to 2014. Or back to 2015, should I say. Then it's the comeback. And Rollins does have that comeback, but has had a bit of a hard time fully recapitalizing on that top tier momentum. Miz to win the title off that snap DDT, but only enough for two, as Rollins fights to live another day, fights to stay in the match to keep his title, at least for now, that is. Miz first kicked the leg out from under Rollins, knocking Rollins down to his knees and just driving Rollins skull first into the mat. And I go back to what I was saying about Seth Rollins having a rough time after his knee injury. He did go through his rebuild, redesign, and his reclaim. He did at one point find himself going at it with the Shield all over the, well, at least the former member, his fellow former associates, former brothers of the Shield over the WWE Championship, including both Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose being WWE Champion. Seth Rollins, now that he's Intercontinental Champion, it's a chance to find your footing and get right back to where you left off. The Intercontinental Championship, a title that has been held by some of the all-time greats like Pat Patterson, Pedro Morales, Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, The Rock. It is one of the most prized titles. To name more, Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect. The list is as extensive as it gets. It's the Workhorse Championship, and that perfectly describes the type of man that Seth Rollins is. What Rollins had to go through to fight his way back so that he could recover from one of the most grueling knee injuries in sports entertainment and pro wrestling history. The way that Rollins' knee caved in, and Rollins is going to that place. Rollins is picking up the momentum. Rollins is getting in groove. Suicide dive takes out The Miz. And Rollins perfectly landing on his feet. And Seth Rollins measuring up The Miz. We've seen this before. The springboard knee, but gets caught. Could be a skull crushing finale. Rollins throws through. Could be enough to put away The Miz, but The Miz kicks out. Miz went after Rollins in the corner. Rollins got the boot up and a blockbuster to follow up. And to follow up is a pinfall attempt to retain the title, but it's not quite enough to keep down The Miz. These two are in peak condition. These two are giving it everything they've got. There is no holding back. All cards will be played. All plays will come on to the field. Miz holding onto the ropes for dear life. Fighting back with a back elbow and sweeps down Rollins. Perhaps taking that figure four leg lock that he inherited through his respect for the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Rollins up at the top and a springboard clothesline takes out The Miz. It could be time to burn it down. Rollins amped up and ready to go. Miz sweeps under, and Rollins gets driven face first in the hardest part of the ring, the apron. The Miz is now going to have to get Seth Rollins back into the ring to capitalize if he is going to leave as the new Intercontinental Champion. That is a lot easier said than done, to just simply capitalize on something like that, especially with what these two men have already put each other through. Miz making his climb up to the top. High cross body. Rollins able to roll through and holds on to the Miz. Look at that from Rollins, and planting Miz into the mat to stay champion, but not just yet. Rollins going to quickly follow up by heading up to the top expeditiously as he is ready to soar and take flight. Frog Splash 2. Secure the victory. No, Miz gets the shoulder up at 2.5. Let's get a look at this from Seth Rollins. The height, the angle. Seth Rollins bringing the heat to the Miz. Miz wants the title back, but Rollins is doing everything he can to deny Miz at every attempt. Just incredible impact off that frog splash by Seth Rollins, but not quite enough to put away the Miz. The Miz is in a struggle right now, in a world of hurt. Rollins is ready. He is measuring up. He's feeling the fire as he is ready to send the Miz into a blackout. Rollins was thinking to stomp. Miz realized his chances of regaining the IC title were in jeopardy. Quickly rolled out. A little bit of a cat and mouse chase. Miz went for a clothesline. Rollins ducked and sends the Miz to the outside onto the floor with a clothesline of his own. And now it's Rollins' time to once again soar and score. But there is no soar. There's no soar. And there is certainly no score for Seth Rollins as he gets caught by the Miz. Miz is feeling it in his midsection as he grasps onto the left side. The ribs bothering the Miz. It can make it achy and hurt to breathe. No. Was thinking that DDT, that snap DDT to Rollins, gets the boot up to Rollins. Rollins is stunned. Dangerous territory on the apron. Rollins hitting in some wicked blows on the Miz. Ripcord. No! Oh my God! I mentioned the injured knee that left Rollins out for 9 months. And now Miz is going to quickly capitalize with a figure 4 leg lock. Rollins is in no man's land. Miz could force Seth Rollins to tap out. First, Rollins goes knee first into the post. And now Miz quickly follows up with a figure 4 that could send Rollins into submission, into defeat, and a new Intercontinental Champion. As Miz is putting everything into this figure 4 leg lock. Will it be enough to put away Seth Rollins? Rollins is starting to fight back, though. Rollins showing that he is going to fight through the pain. And Miz, that look of worry, the disbelief as Rollins sending it over. Can he do it now? All the pressure is applied on the A-lister, and the Miz is now the one writhing in pain and agony. The challenger, the Miz, the opportunity as it slowly, ever so, blows into the wind away from the Miz. Seth Rollins could be near to retaining his title. Rollins makes it to the bottom rope after the Miz turned it right back around. Miz holding on for a few extra seconds so he doesn't get disqualified from a rope break. First, it was the ripcord knee. and attempted, but unsuccessful. Rollins' knee went right into the post. Miz quickly got Rollins back into the ring, went for the figure four, and Rollins spent quite some time in the figure four despite being able to counter for a little bit. The damage is still done, and the Miz is looking to go right back to it. Rollins kicking the Miz off, and there's a thunderous chop from Rollins. Rollins and the Miz have endured so much in this battle. Miz quick to go after the knee of Rollins. Miz was thinking skull-crushing finale. Rollins was able to counter despite the damage done to his knee. And a stiff forearm from Rollins gets followed up by a big boot from the Miz. And then alley-oop on an enziguri, but Miz again thinking skull-crushing finale. The knee of Rollins may have just cost him. We got a new Intercontinental champion. Rollins survives the skull-crushing finale. Unbelievable courage from the Intercontinental champion, sending shocking disbelief into the challenger. Miz got rocked by that enziguri and still somehow managed. Rollins first rolled through. Miz picked up Rollins. And because of the way Rollins landed on his knee, that split second allowed the Miz to be able to get that skull-crushing finale. But somehow, some way, when there is a will, there is a way, and Seth Rollins managed to kick out. Is Rollins on borrowed time? The damage is done to the knee. How is Rollins going to not only hit the stomp on the Miz, but be able to capitalize following a stomp that requires to put all of your weight down on that knee? Miz scaling the turnbuckles as he looks to take a risk up at the top, create a magical moment for himself. However, it did not pay off for the Miz. Rollins still expressing the damage in his knee, expressing the pain. It doesn't go away that easy. Rollins, if this doesn't work out for Rollins, it could be game over. Rollins, you're putting all of your chips on one play. Miz kicks at the knee to get Seth Rollins off the top. Rollins quickly gets back up. I don't know where Rollins is finding this first. The superplex. Was thinking the Falcon Arrow follow-up, and another skull-crushing finale, and that's gonna be it. Oh, what? And again? There's a miracle that could happen for Seth Rollins here at Backlash. How in the world? Over 14,000 fans have just witnessed one of the most courageous moments I've ever witnessed. Not once, but twice, as Rollins kicked out of the skull-crushing finale in this match. I am absolutely astonished at how far Seth Rollins is willing to go to retain the Intercontinental Championship. I said workhorse championship. Rollins is that. Rollins personifies what it means to be a true workhorse. Despite the pain, despite the odds being stacked against him, despite suffering and being on the receiving end of two of the same moves from The Miz, that same skull-crushing finale that won The Miz the WWE Championship 8 years ago. Miz has Rollins placed up and perched up at the top. Miz has got to be thinking something deep into the playbook. No, I can already envision what Miz has in mind. Not from there. No! He's thinking to finally... That's a super skull-crushing finale. but not today as Rollins fights off The Miz. Rollins up with a middle turnbuckle. Miz is down. And to stop nobody home. Thinking one final. Rolls through. 1, 2. Now Rollins stacks up The Miz. 2. And now. Stop! And Rollins got all of it. But with the knee in so much pain, can he get there? Can Rollins do it? And Seth Rollins is still the Intercontinental Champion. What a display. With his last ounce of courage, Seth Rollins pulled it out of the bag. Where was it when he needed the most? That stomp came at the perfect time, the perfect placement, and still the Intercontinental Champion. A heartbreaking loss for the A-lister. Miz had such high hopes. An impressive display by The Miz to try and take that Intercontinental Championship back. But Seth Rollins had just that much more in the tank over The Miz.